Hi, my name is Danielle Willette, and I'm going to talk to you guys today about my Judtalk number one. So in this one, I basically have realized throughout my life, I guess, that I really don't learn a whole lot unless I go through some pain. It's always pain where I typically tend to learn the most, whether I like it or not. And one of those examples was actually a lady that I used to work with. She was my manager at the time, and she was just not a good leader, in my opinion. She often changed her mind. She gave direction one day, and then a week later it would be an entirely different direction for the same exact scenario. She was very about like kind of covering her own butt, and I mean, she was the kind of manager where you just knew that if it came down to it, she would throw you under the bus to save herself, no questions asked whatsoever. And she just really has like a way of talking people really negatively, or like talking down to people even. And for me, the main issue that I ran into frequently with her was that like I have to think for myself. Like I'm not one that can just be told to go do something, and if it doesn't make sense to me, I can't. Like I've tried, and I can't just accept like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go do this thing that makes absolutely no sense. So for her, there was a lot of ways where, or whatever, our issue basically boiled down to she wanted me to do everything manually, which was like we were basically dealing with data. So at that time, the company hadn't used imports or exports or anything, which is basically changing the ability to change data on a mass level instead of doing it one by one. So she had never messed with imports or exports, so it was unknown to her. And she was also the kind of manager that if it wasn't your idea, it wasn't a good idea. So when I presented like, hey, I've experienced or experimented with this and it works, can I kind of teach the team or whatever, she was very she would not let me do it basically. And it didn't matter like what kind of logic that I discussed. Like I literally argued, I mean, I could do something in like a half hour that could literally be taking us like weeks to do, and it was still not okay to do it that way in her opinion. So I really struggled there, but again, I really don't learn a whole lot without struggling. And for me, so now, I mean, that was like 2.5 years ago, and I've realized that I learned so much from her. I hated working under her, and it was honestly like the most hardest part of my career was the couple years that I worked under her. Towards the end, it got really bad. And it was just not a good situation to be in. I literally struggled so hard in that position. I cannot even put it into words. But now, like, I'm as confident as I am in some areas of my career because of the issues that I had with her. I just got really confident in some of what I was talking about because I had to have so much backup before I was even willing to go have a conversation with her. And that just really enabled me to see that I'm really good at like processes and whatnot and figuring out the most efficient way to do things. So basically, she helped me learn everything that I want to be about the kind of leader that I want to be by displaying everything that I don't want to be. And that might sound harsh, but honestly, like I don't have any ick in my heart anymore for her. I am grateful that I got to work under her and learn from her as much as I did. I did have some good takeaways too, but I most definitely at the time focused on the negatives. But in reality, even though it was a miserable experience at that point, I ended up learning so much, and I'm a better person because of it. So I say all that to say that sometimes we learn the most and are the most fruitful than what we learn and figure out in life when we're going through struggle. So next time you're struggling, just think about the other side of it. Somehow God will bring good out of what seems horrible. Thanks.